Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do Chastity issue number 2 by Chaos Comics, covered by Justiano, my favorite. So we are moving on where we left off. Yes, let's do it. So skipping a few pages, it's not very interesting. Well, she is basically asked to audition for a TV show, and this guy's there's a I don't know, not a celebrity hunter, but some guy that. I'm forgetting how are these guys? Is this how you do it? That you're gonna approach people middle on the street and says, "Hey, we got a gig for you, and you are a pretty girl, and then you should become famous, etc., etc." Not sure. I mean, her costume looks great. Anyway, she says, "Yeah, no, I don't have time." I'm reacting a bit later to that because she wants to audition for some parts. Anyway. Then she comes back to her apartment, and the apartment is all trash, and she is all pissed off. But then we go back 18 years ago, because that was the part that we left off in the last comic, that Jade, caught Chastity, and she is wondering why she cannot sense her. And Chastity says, "I don't know. I've been made that way, and I'm here all alone, etc." She's acting stupid, but. Jade is very intrigued by the fact that she cannot be sensed by other vampires, and that could be, used as a weapon. But then she says, "Make the sacrifice," and then I don't know. This guy dies, and then Jesse's being hypnotized by Jade, and then we see. Well, not we, but also Jade sees how she is being made into a vampire. Again, I don't know the full backstory of Chastity, how she came to be, but she's been bitten and by this guy, and I see some instruments here. Could be, I don't know, maybe a band member, or she was part of a band, and when she was attacked on something, not entirely sure. But Jade also experienced the physical assault, the smell, the sensation. I love this part of the writing. She smells the maggot breath of the undead, and for a moment realizes how she must smell to others. The thought appalls her. Yeah, we all forget that vampires are basically dead, and they are supposedly rotting or something, but since they cannot do that because they are vampires, but they are still dead, so they smell dead too. So yeah, cool. And then also she, we see the continuations of that, but then Jade has some respect for her because she's been trained in the martial arts, and she attained some kind of a peak condition that nobody could have done for her time, or for as a Westerner, because she's been trained in the Japanese or Asian martial arts, and no person can do that except Chastity, because she was determined to learn it. And she's been also taken against her will, as was Jade. And we're coming that also a little bit later, back again. That I explained that wrong. We come back to that a little bit later. Yeah, that's how we do it. Anyway, so Jade says, she wants to join them, but she says, "Tell me who sent you, and I will at least let your death be painless." And she says, "No deal, Fu Manchu." And she's been taken away. And but also, before that, Jade says, "Before you die, I will show you who and what you tried to kill." She means herself. So she's sitting here in the car, and she's been driving away. And then we see the origin of Jade, and I didn't know that. I know that she was turned by a creature, and I know that creature. I'm going to show you that a little bit later. Here it is. And but where she came from, I have no clue. And that's basically very interesting. It seems that, 3,000 years or 2,000 years ago, BC, her father was a warlord, a man of great power, have influence, and he wants to have he's rose to prominence in the court and became an ambassador, but he desperately wants a son, because that at that time sons were more important than daughters, but he got 3 daughters, and she was the eldest. And Chinese women or Asian women was more born into servitude at that time period. But she was very a stubborn girl, so her father decided to take her with her on a diplomatic mission. And they are getting to Egypt, where there was a wedding between a king and queen, but then that was interrupted by being called Purgatory, and Purgatory slaughtered everyone and also killed Jade. Her father brought her back home, her body, and then she died and rose again as a vampire, with the result that her bloodlust taken over, and then she was, well, she's killing her father. And she said, well, the bloodlust was too strong and she couldn't do anything about it. And we see here the pain and the suffering in her eyes. But she says, it does not matter. The past is but a memory. And then she is, I mean, the art is very good. It's been by Ivan Rice or Evan Rice. He's been around for a very, very long time. He does a lot of DC work now. His art is fantastic. Highly recommended. As you can see. Evan Rice, look that name up. You see beautiful art of his. And she says, I cursed that night, but I embraced my birthright. You think you know, suffering little one. And then she, steps out of the car and orders the remaining, I don't know, ninjas or clan or underlings to kill her. She escapes. She dives into, very cool, into some kind of a rock concert. And then she is kicking ass because everybody's following her. Eventually she escapes and go back to her dorm room, where she is being waited up by, her friends, and they say, hey, where were you going? We missed you. But they don't know that she was a vampire or is a vampire. And then somehow Jade does something to her. She has a, lust for blood now. And she tried to repress that, and that works for a time. And then she goes on to the audition that she asked, in the first page. And people are impressed with her work, and she does her very best to impress them. Going back to the present, where her house is trashed, and then we see the sigil of Jade, and then she get a note: if you want to see your friend alive, come to the Hollywood Wax Museum. And she has no choice, so she's going to turn into her assassin. Now, do you say close? If you can call it that. Now, look at that. Jesus Christ. And then, she's getting herself ready for a fight with Jade. I mean, she looks like a stripper. But yeah, at that time, that was something very popular. Now I know why people like that. It's way better than we see nowadays. Anyway, yeah, this is fun. I especially like the Jade story. Also that, the background and the history of Chastity a little bit. Very fun. And Jade is a fun character. I like to see more of her. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you for watching. I see you next time. Bye-bye.